One of the most interesting gallery spaces on the Upper Town is the old Jesuit monastery. Now it is the Gallery Klovicevi dvori, named after Juraj Julia Klovic, the most famous miniaturist of the Renaissance. Today we're visiting the exhibition called Normandie, the birth of Impressionism. It presents 90 works of famous artists who all painted in Normandy. They include the greatest French painters such as Monet, Boudin, Courbet, Corot, Dufy and Renoir. But foreign artists are also included, such as the Americans Boggs and Stevens. Why did they all go to Normandy? Mostly because of the farm Saint-Simeon. In mid-19th century, this farm was the gathering place of many famous artists and intellectuals. Several exhibited works were created there. They weren't meant to be sold. Commercial value wasn't their goal. They were memories, sketches of particular moments, which they later exchanged among themselves. This exhibition is unique because it shows different artistic movements of the 19th century. But it follows their gradual development, which eventually led to the 20th century modern art. For example, this painting of a horse by Géricault is pure academism. Then we go a step further. This painting was made by Corot when he was still a student at the Academy. You can see the academic and classicist influence of the age. It was 1822. However, you can also see that he starts to experiment with something new in this segment of the coast, which is treated more freely. The Impressionists' paintings provide a magical portrait of the nature in Normandy. But nature wasn't the only thing to paint. You can see villagers, fishermen and workers, but also the people of a new age, tourists from Paris. The Seine became a busy lane for commerce. Instead of running away from bleak industrial landscapes, these painters turned them into things of beauty. For the artists, industry meant buying paint in tubes, but also the advent of the railway. It enabled them to take small canvases and paint, jump on a train and travel to another part of France to paint. This is the reason for the small size of most paintings. They were easier to transport. As we climb to the upper floor, we move into modern art. This exhibition is dedicated to a single artist, Gliha. He was one of the main figures of modern Croatian art. Gliha lived and painted on the island of Krk. His early landscapes show the idyllic seaside villages. But there is another element. The dry walls built by human hands over the millennia. These ancient walls would become his lifelong obsession.
Upravo taj motiv gromača koji Gliha razvija pedantno.
It was precisely the motif of dry walls which Gliha developed pedantically from the late 1940s and during the 50s and the 60s, helped him to make that move into abstraction in a visually convincing way. As we follow Gliha's development to total abstraction, the walls disappear almost completely. But, as the artist himself once said, "Those who see only the walls can't see my true art." But if you see only abstraction and forget about the walls, you've missed the point.